Well, if not, they'll be here in 20 minutes.
Correct. We might start in 20 minutes then,
You want me to
Because
balance
I
out
got-
the size?
because that person, so you might be able to do.
Okay, so, well,
Scott.
I guess we'll go ahead and commence with the study session. It is 6:03 p.m.
No, pretty much. Let's start with the areas. Down the road all the way. Capital M. Design. That's it.
I'm just
Well,
trying.
we need to stand for the pledge of allegiance, so I
Oh.
get a stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams, Reed, Jackson. Here. Lawler. Davis.
Here.
Brent.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. So we do have an adjustment to our study session. The individuals that were supposed to be here to give us a presentation are caught up on I-94 traffic. So we will go ahead and go through the items that we will be discussing at our regular council meeting. And then hopefully before 7 o'clock, so they will arrive to be able to give us their presentation. So on our regular council agenda, we're going to be asked to approve the Metro Act right for AT&T. So there's information in your packet. But City Manager Snyder, do you want to give us information on why this is before us?
Yes, so I believe we've had this agreement in place and this allows AT&T to access the city right of way for their service lines and utility poles. So just up for renewal and it's before you for approval.
Question,
Yes.
because when I read this, I wondered, will the services be better in terms of the cable, well, phone service and connection service?
Nope, I don't believe this has anything to do with like the level of service. This just gives them permission to access the city right away, to work within the city's right of way.
Because
That's,
that
I
has
think,
been,
something different.
okay, that has been a problem, okay.
So is this typically a 5-year agreement?
I don't know, Jill, do you remember when the last every 5 years?
We're doing it like 2010 or 2012 or something. Or because it was just beginning to put in fiber optic.
Do we have any questions for City Manager Snyder in regards to this topic? All right, next, we're going to be asked to approve the MML property full renewal. And that's the invoice is included in the packet. The City Manager Snyder, if you want to give us information on this.
Yep, so this is just a yearly renewal and I don't know how it slipped underneath the track between both myself and Clerk Domingo, but it goes, our renewal period is from 7/1 to 7/1 of 23 to 7/1 of 24. So we completed all of the required paperwork to provide them with renewal package. I'm happy to say that we were receiving a dividend in the amount of 18,986. So for the total for this year is 229, 212, just before you for approval, and this will go along or be included in the budget for next year. So just the normal renewal process.
Any questions on this item? All right, next we are going to be asked to approve the resolution for the Rich Mod program. So is this just a new location that we're approving?
Yes, so council, if you all can, if you can recall, we were awarded a grant back in 2022. Our original location was along Haven Road. However, that was determined it was in a floodplain. Michigan would not allow that to be a site that we could use. So we worked to identify another site. We found one on East Cass Street. When we started doing the environmental testing, we found that there were levels of contamination. So that did not seem feasible or was not a feasible site for that location. So then we sought out to find a new location. And we have found two that have clean phase 1 and phase 2. So we are looking to utilize 310 Fitch Street for our 2022 Mr. Mod grant. This will build a workforce modular house on that area. And then later on the agenda, we have the purchase agreements from the land bank to take ownership of those properties and then move forward with this program. We did, I don't know if you remember, but Director Arnold, he did point them out when we went on the city tour on Fitch Street. So we're happy to now be able to really move forward with that, with this grant program. Ian, if you want to add anything else.
No, just exactly what you're saying.
It's here to answer questions. Anybody have questions for either? Yep, Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
I mean, one question that I have, because I see that I think this is like one on our third site.
Yeah, we had to go through a couple different ones.
So I see when we had this project and we had it 3 locations, my question is, why didn't we do like our due diligence from the first? I hear what you're saying, but like kind of why?
Yeah, I'll tell you, on that first one, I would chalk that first one up to missed due diligence. Amy DePraise and I were working on finding a site, weren't really reading through everything, saw, the Haven Street one. There was an obvious mistake in that one being in a floodplain. The Cass Street one, though, is a good example of doing the due diligence and it coming around to bite you. What we found at that site was not really any contamination at 307 East Cass, but at, I think it was 305 East Cass next door, there used to be a gas station. And so there's buried tanks from that. So I think, I don't want to say specific numbers, but we had to, we were going to have to develop an action plan or a care plan with that. That was starting to look like another $15,000-$20,000 to start answering some more questions. So instead of spending that money and kind of diving into 307 East Cass anymore right now, still one we could look at in the future for sure. We just tried to see if through the land bank and through the Southwest Michigan Planning Council, we could use their grants, test some more land bank and city-owned properties and find something that was clean. The last batch of testing that found us these Fitch Street lots, we tested 4 parcels, 2 next to each other on Pine Street, 201 and 203. One of those, I don't remember off the top of my head what the specific contaminations were, but it was another situation where I think 203 Pine had some contamination. And so at 201, we were worried we'd run into the same situations we did on Cass Street, where we've got, this one's technically clean, but it's right adjacent to the other contaminations. So the Fitch Street ones, as part of that due diligence process, we felt a whole lot safer about them because 2 lots right next to each other where we don't have a history of industrial activity coming back clean tells me that we can build 2 houses there.
So, sorry.
No.
So that was going to be my next question, that before announcing our projects like that, can we make sure we have due diligence? So, but you're telling me that you have done due diligence.
Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot with this and I'll be absolutely glad to make sure that we're, looking at these all the way before we say anything out to the community.
Okay, all right.
Any other? Yep.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Fitch Street locations, have they been tested yet?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
they've, the Fitch Street lots have received a phase 1 environmental testing and that showed no history and no obvious signs of contamination.
Okay, do we have to do a phase two if we come out good on the phase one?
We do not, and
Okay.
that was between the lines on the Pine Street lot and the East Cass Street lot. We would have at least had to do a phase two, which that money was never on any of these tests coming out of our pools. But we wanted to be considerate of the land bank and the Southwest Michigan Planning Council when we're using their grants. So we just didn't feel like those were worth diving into right now, but we have those phase ones. They're still relatively recent, and we're hoping to continue working with the land bank on, if it's not us that's gonna use them, finding somebody else that will.
Okay.
Yep.
When was this? Oh, we initially got this in 2021.
Correct.
Is that what it was? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So we're in the last third of it, really, or last half of it now. But we're having we had a lot of stalled time on 307 East Cass. There were a couple other things going on, but we're moving a lot faster with this one now. So you should anticipate some more regular updates from my department on this.
Yep. We submitted our application December of 21 and we were awarded early 2022. We have until August of 2024 to have this project completed. So we still have plenty of time to get this done.
Councilman French?
So the council received an email from the owner of Marino's. Filled with concern about his desire to purchase the property. I invited him to come to council meetings, so I just want to let people know that he and I have communicated by email. He's voiced his concern, his attitude. So I invited him to come to a council meeting, to this council meeting, so he may or may not be here. I just wanted to let people know that might happen. So and I think you've talked to him on several occasions already. So
Yes, not in the last 72 hours.
Okay.
But he and I have spoken this year.
I think he has contacted most of us.
yeah,
because
you got
I spent a lot of time talking with him also,
usually.
and I referred to you. as-
Sure.
Great.
Any other questions? Yep. Councilman Williams?
The overall project, I know there's not a large margin for a developer to be brought in. So, my question is, who's heading this project in its totality?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I've got my to-do list is drawing the site plan for this and working with the manufacturer to get a quote on kind of the exact cost of what specific unit. They have different configurations of modular units depending on the shape and size of the lot that you're working on. The one that we have is, I think it's about 46 feet wide, if I'm remembering. And so that fits kind of a more 1920s, 1930s style of construction a little better, more than a lot of people are doing a more 60s, 70s ranch, but trying to preserve neighborhood character where we can. That'll all just kind of get figured out as we order the unit.
Right. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, anything else? Right, thank you.
Thank you.
And then lastly, we're going to be asked to approve resolution 2023-16 to award the distribution system materials to Loomis Water Consultants. So, Manager Snape, if you want to give us background on this, please?
Yep, so this is just the second part of the ongoing water distribution systems inventory project that we have currently going on. We were awarded $400,000 in grant funding from Eagle to identify the materials of our water service lines that go into our resident and businesses here in town. So I believe it was at the last meeting, you all awarded the exterior inspections to B&B Environmental Services LLC. So that this project's two-part. They do exterior verifications and then internal. So the internal will be handled by Loomis Water Consultants LLC, or Jay Loomis. He is a former city employee. We had a service agreement in place for him to provide water operations or consultations to the city. So this is just kind of expanding and renewing that agreement. So he will be able to handle the internal inspections. He has a wealth of knowledge. He's worked with the city's systems for quite some time. So we're just recommending approval so they can get going on that project. And the attorney's office has reviewed the agreement.
Any questions for city manager Snape? Councilman Williams?
Yes, is this something that should have went up for bid or?
So the exterior was, since we already had an agreement in place with him, and it's kind of a two-part, so he will be assisting our water department employees to handle this, so there'll be two people going into the homes. So we just kind of took the current agreement that we had in place with him, updated it to expand the scope to handle this process, and then it's coming back for you for approval.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilman French?
Is there a maximum that we're gonna pay?
I
I see the hourly rate and all that, but is there a maximum that he's,
don't believe so. I know it's all covered through whatever, we have to identify over 300 lines, so they're keeping track to do that. It's all covered by the grant dollars, so there's no out of pocket with the city.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this item? All right, well, since we are done then with our actual agenda items, and we are still waiting on our presenters to arrive, I will go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
And I was just not leaving the building in case our presenters do arrive, so that they can still get in front of us for the study session. Okay, and if they do arrive in time, what was that?
Coming west or east?
Coming from the Detroit area. They said they're just west of the 136 exit. Their GPS said they're about 14 miles away from City Hall, so. But they just have not moved. They just need to get moving.
Yeah, they're probably 36. One lane now.
Yes, that's where they're.
So yeah, I would say stay close, but if they get here, then we will reconvene for the presentation. If not, then maybe we can get them in for the.
I know they over the phone, they already asked if we could reschedule, so
Okay.
I just feel bad.
Make a motion to change the agenda.
All right, okay, so we are adjourned at 6:19 PM.
You didn't vote on it. Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
uh,
Opposed?
thank you.
This
Don't forget,
unanimous.
Mayor. I mean, assuming they show up and you continue your meeting, it's fine, but I don't believe we had public comment.
No.
There's no one in the public here.
Or do we have anybody that would like?
Is anybody online? Nope.
We don't have that anymore. All right,